Today's show, as always, sponsored by LivasaIslandApparel.com for gear that represents the South Pacific Island languages and cultures accurately and responsibly. Put on for the culture. Catch the wave at LivasaIslandApparel.com. Welcome everyone to the Ballinesian podcast, sponsored by Livasa Island Apparel. www.livasailandapparel.com. Catch them at Esther Short Park this July at the 4 Days of Aloha Festival. Shout out to Kikui Kui Foundation who puts that on every year. There's usually an artist that performs, and then all the vendors and different classes and Islander presentations. So definitely check that out. Livasa is going to have a tent there. I think there's their third year in a row at the 4 Days of Aloha. So definitely check them out there, or again online at the website www.livasailandapparel.com. Let's get it started. I am Lance Falitongo.
And I am Mike Chiso.
Fizz the Wiz. Mike, how's it going? How are you? What's new this week?
Not a whole lot. State basketball tournament in the Washington.
Nice.
Gearing up for that this weekend in the Tacoma Dome. Another day in paradise, my brother.
It's been a little weird temperature wise down here in Portland. We had like a big sunny break, and then today we had snow. Freaking it was like light sleet, but it was like piling up on the car windshield, all this icy snow, and I was like, no, what is happening? Is it winter still? Are we gonna get an early spring? Are you guys warm up there, or has it been any kind of cold snow?
It was sunny today, and then it just all of a sudden started dumping, and then there was some hail, and then now it's just like regular rain. We're like, what the heck is going on?
No. The climate be changing.
But it's global warming isn't real. That's what they say.
No, it's a hoax so that we can scare you into voting. We're going to talk sports. Brother Forrest is going to jump on here in a little bit. We're going to talk franchise tag news. Who's been tagged already? Who our teams, Chargers, Raiders, Seahawks, should be tagging, or if they should tag anybody else. News so far this week. What do you feel is the biggest thing that stood out sports-wise, or that has kind of been on your mind this week?
Mostly, as now that the season's winding down, we're getting into the draft. Everybody's talking about who should draft who, and I think in the next coming weeks we're going to see a lot of the quarterbacks like jump over each other on the rankings. Like I just saw a report that said Drake May is a more athletic Mason Rudolph with less arm talent.
Wait, what? That sounds like a demotion.
But they said he's also a top 5 quarterback. So I'm like, is that what a team wants? Would they just not want Mason Rudolph instead?
And then save that pick for somebody for a different... Yeah. No, comparing him to Mason Rudolph, I feel like would scare teams away. Athletic Mason Rudolph with less arm. Oh, that's scary. I think it's going to be 1, 2, 3. The first 3 picks are going to be quarterbacks, whether that's the Bears, Commanders, and then Patriots, or the Patriots, doing what I don't know if Bill Belichick taught Gerard Mayo how to trade back, but there's some people that might like Jaden Daniels, the Raiders. You imagine if the Patriots traded back to the Raiders, or somebody else that wanted to jump up and get a quarterback, or if Caleb Williams falls, maybe people want to trade up for him. But then I think it's going to be Caleb Williams, Drake May, Jaden Daniels, 1, 2, 3. But yeah, it is that season for draft stories, draft like prospects, projections, mock drafts, all that's coming up. Cam Newton cannot be defeated by regular men.
Where
opened
did this
up
the shirt wrong?
Superman. He got jumped, or an attempted jumping of former Carolina Panthers and Patriots quarterback Cam Newton at a 7-on-7 football game. That was crazy just to see the videos
that were beating him up. I guess like they were coaches, and yeah.
They had a dispute over like whose plays were better.
I guess.
Oh no, I did see another video of one of the guys involved in the fight with Cam Newton before that happened, and he was saying, the tape has spoken. We beat y'all 3 times. And then he called Cam Newton like a fake superhero Atlanta non-throwing quarterback. Something like that. And then it cut to them trying to like tackle and like punch Cam Newton. I think one guy got like a really big haymaker that connected. But Cam Newton was just like kind of stiff arming, pushing people off, holding people at bay until security got there. It looked like he held his own. What did you see?
Pretty much that. It looked like he was handling it. I would need, like we were talking before this, at least 4 of me probably to take down Cam Newton. He's fucking a beast. And even though he's been out the league for like a year or 2, he probably still works out a lot. And yeah, he scares the crap out of me.
That was the problem D linemen had tackling or sacking Cam Newton, is that he was the same size as them, when usually a quarterback is smaller and kind of easily folds. Cam Newton went full Superman when he was playing football, and when he's at on the sidelines at football tournaments, he will be able to step up and kind of go toe to toe with anybody because he's just as big. So shout out to Ace Boogie for keeping his hat on the whole time. It went undisturbed.
Well, I was like, that thing must be pinned into his hair or something.
Somebody said Cam Newton dressed like the Wicked Witch of the West and still fighting off any and all comers. Shout out to Ace Boogie. You said the San Francisco quarterback Brock Purdy set up
Brock Purdy set the hit on Cam Newton. He said, "I'm game managed. You getting beat up," and then he's over in the back like, "No."
The game manager assassins.
A quote from one of the guys was like, "Cam Newton was just being a dick," and he was like, "So I think Cam Newton's team was losing," and the guy was like, "Oh," Cam Newton was like, "Oh, let's bet. Let's place money on it." And the guy's like, "No, we're not gonna just do that because that's all you can do is like it's all about money."
Oh, gotcha.
And Cam's like, "Nah, dog, we're betting. I got all the money. I'll buy you." Blah, blah, blah. Like trying to flex on him tough.
Yeah.
And
that's what led to it.
Probably some fighting words after that, and
someone felt demeaned.
I can't believe it was 3v1 though. Like it was like dad's getting beat up, and so son comes to help, and then son's getting beat up, and
then the security came through and pretty much cleared it out. Yeah, that's interesting. I really wanted to know what caused that. So I guess them talking back and forth, and I don't know. It's already that season. Court storming. I think it was this week, and also last month. Who was it? Caitlin Clark got hit during a court storm by a fan.
Yep.
And then is it Filipkowski?
Yeah.
From Duke. Got his knee kind of like, I don't know. Somebody ran into his knee while they were running onto the court. Have you ever been part of a court storming or like in the building when that happens?
Nope.
Are you not a court stormer? Like if that goes down?
No, I don't think so. I've never been. I would hope I was on the court during a court storming, but no. And I'm not really. Yeah, I'm like stay in the seat. Actually, there was like a fighting altercation that happened at a game I was at. And yeah, people left the stands. But Don't do that. Stay in the stands, guys. And it's like, it's not even Duke. Like, that happened to Duke like 3 times this season. Every time they lost, someone storms the court. This is not Coach K's Duke, all right?
Oh, that's right. Coach K's not even there.
Yeah, man. Stop tripping, man. They all storming the court. This guy got like punched in his back. Like he got punched and like tripped. That's like they were just so excited. They just like beat his ass.
Yeah, that's wild. Court storming. There was more talk, especially with people getting injured or players getting injured, that they're going to ban it somehow. Joined by Coach Forrest. Welcome in, bro.
Man, don't ban it, man. It's part of the game, man.
I was going to say, the traditionalist is going to... It's part of the emotions.
It's because you don't get his 7-foot clumsy-ass, pasty-ass out the way. So, him and Kaden Clark. Y'all try to run people over and then blame, because get the hell out the way. Shit. Let these kids celebrate just like you. Ah.
It's only when it's an underdog, right? Like a small school or something like that, or like a championship.
Yeah, big wins. It's not like a regular thing, but like, big wins.
It's a big moment for them. You're saying let them have their moment.
Yeah, this is what kids pay college for. They pay college tuition for.
Now that the players are getting paid, you gotta protect those assets. Like you would never see that in an NBA game.
Definitely think they need to like at least do better security with like having like
oh hell no,
like you know what I mean? No,
let them clear the court first, and then now you guys
like that, or like Duke. They should have a specific security team. They should have Duke security team plus if they're not playing at home, then the home team security should be a little bit more beefed up on Duke's, not just Duke, but the opposing team side.
Or getting them off of the court.
Make sure they get off the court and all together, so.
Mike brings up a good point. You don't see court storming in the NBA, right? And they have like the same, attendants that are standing there that are supposed to be able to block. But I mean, if like 1,000 people at the Moda Center wanted to rush the court, the people holding them back would not be able to stop all of them, right? Like you could court storm. Like,
first off,
why doesn't it happen in the NBA?
Look, first off, bad team to use it as an explanation.
No, what you talking about, man? When Shaden Sharp hits like a big 3 over like the Nuggets.
Man. The only thing that they rush out of the court for at Moda is for free tacos or free burgers.
Just for the halftime participant.
Yeah.
Damn.
Ain't nobody rushing after the game win. You know why? Because they don't win at the Moda Center.
No, you remember that time Dame hit that like wave off 3 versus PG?
Where does Dame play at now?
For the Bucks, All-Star MVP.
Damn, did you hear though that his wife was cheating on him with like the coach and the trainer?
What?
Well, that's why they divorced. Yeah,
that's why they divorced. Yeah, that was probably part of the reason why he wanted to get the fuck up out of Portland. He's like, damn, these motherfuckers betrayed me.
Man,
but these are all just rumors. I don't know the truth. Like,
I assumed it was him, the one that was the cheater in the cheating rumors or the infidelity.
I mean, you don't know his side
like
of the story.
Else. Yeah, he should have just been petty like everybody else and slept with somebody else's wife. I mean. Isn't that how they do it these days?
Just go even,
like,
even,
Tony
and go back.
Parker, Brett Barry style or something.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, geez. Oh, man. Who was it? Delonte West supposedly slept with LeBron's mom? Was it that?
Yep.
Was that one?
Look what LeBron did to him.
Right? And then LeBron gave him the curse, man.
Yeah, he blackballed him from life, from society.
He didn't give Delonte West the super secret drink that he was supposed to. He gave him the other drink.
He gave him the opposite drink.
Yeah.
I've seen a bunch of Delonte West people trying to help him recover and stuff videos. I feel like that.
Basketball with Delonte West talent in it at his house.
Trapped in a case.
LeBron had his high school teammates kidnap him and they force fed him fentanyl. So, yeah.
Whoa! All right. Also, more news is the latest news we have on the NFL franchise tags is that the Cincinnati Bengals decided to officially go through and tag wide receiver Tee Higgins.
That's a good tag.
He's going to be guaranteed over $21 million this year if he does play on that 1 year tag. But the Bengals do have, I think, the next 4 months to try to negotiate a long-term deal with him, in which case he'll get paid whatever that contract is signed. Mike, how do you feel about this tag? Is this something the Bengals obviously should be doing, or is there some question here?
I think that it's a solid pickup. Tee Higgins is easily the second, or I would guess third best offensive player on their team, behind Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow. And having that second receiver who's fucking dope, like, he's closer to Jamar Chase than he is to, like, the third string guy. Yeah, like Tyler Boyd or whoever their third option is. So having like two guys that Joe Burrow trusts, once he's healthy, hopefully next season, I think that their offense will be very explosive. They're like, everyone's gearing up to try to beat the Chiefs, so you have to have weapons, and he's a solid one. They're going to have Jamar Chase probably extended, re-signed, whatever. Joe Burrow just signed his big deal, so they got all those guys locked in. I'm about it.
See, having Jamar Chase also eating up a lot of money here soon. I guess Jamar Chase still on his rookie deal, but they're going to have to decide on his fifth-year extension here before his fourth year starts. So that's going to be this summer. Forrest, Tee Higgins, it doesn't matter that Jamar Chase is also on the roster, or is this just that special window where they have the room to also pay another receiver big money?
No, I mean, like Mike said, I was going to change our dynamics, and I was going to be like Skip to his good signing. Hell no. No, like Mike said, he's their third best offensive weapon, and you want to put people around Joe Burrow as he's coming back from an injury, yes, but supposedly, or not supposedly, the word is that he should be back to full health when he gets back, and you want him to have all the weapons around him. So Tee Higgins is really good for them. Like Boyd, you could maybe let go of Boyd, maybe you release him, maybe you don't need him, maybe you pick up a younger guy, but to have Tee Higgins and Jamar Chase there, that's going to help Jamar Chase as well. So, I mean, you can't just key in on Jamar Chase, because Tee Higgins was feeling to be, besides Mike Evans, probably the number one free agent wide receiver out there. So, if they, and at $21 million, I mean, can you really be mad that you're franchised and you're getting 21? If that's when I know I'm going to stop watching football, is when someone gets tagged and for $21 million and they start complaining.
For 1 year too, like, right. Geez Louise, that's exactly crazy.
$1.5 million a game.
Like, oh man. Oh, yeah. But no, yeah, I think just like Mike, I think it's a really good signing because it helps the team. It's not just one of those luxury signings that we got other receivers. Well, why don't we have just all the good receivers? It's a guy that they're going to need, and he's going to help alleviate all the double teams that Jamar faces, and it'll help Joe Burrow a lot. So, good signing for them. Well, good tag for them.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So if you don't know about the franchise tag, the NFL has the franchise tag, which started in 1993, that allows teams to basically keep a player that is about to become a free agent. Usually it's small market teams that have a star and are trying to retain that star, or it's like somebody that really needs it, a position of need, kind of like quarterbacks, cornerbacks, edge rushers. You also have the wide receivers and running backs that make big money. But the franchise tag is, if you get tagged by your team, you get paid, like the average of the top 5 salaries at your position. So this means that that average varies a lot. Like quarterbacks, I'm looking right here for the non-exclusive tag. If you tag a quarterback, it's $38 million next year. You have to pay them $38.3 million. $38.3 million. As opposed to a running back, if you put a running back on a non-exclusive franchise tag, it's closer to 12 to 14 million. Kickers, less than 6 million. So depending on how much money the rest of your position makes, it kind of depends on, kind of tells how much you're going to make. So there's also, if the average of the top 5 salaries are less than what you make, then you just get a 20% raise from last year. Like if you make the most money, like if Nick Bosa got franchise tagged in a couple of years by the Niners, he already makes $34 million a year. He would then make like $41 million a year, which is quarterback money. But yeah, these is there any other franchise tag news? I heard running backs are getting released. Pollard, Henry, Eckler, Jacobs. There's going to be a lot of a running back heavy market. But is there any other things you guys are hearing before we get into our own teams, like around the league for franchise tags? Any other teams?
It's been quiet. It's been quiet so far.
Yeah.
With the off season, I think everybody is waiting for this week. Is it this week? Next week? Combine starts.
I think it's end of March or April.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know why I thought it was this week.
Well, the franchise tag window is February 20th to March 5th. So I think next Tuesday afternoon is when the deadline to submit your franchise tag. So we'll definitely see it then. But over the next week, we're going to hear a lot of the franchise tags.
Yeah, I just heard the Raiders won't be tagging Josh Jacobs.
Right.
So maybe they're gonna try to work out who is that got the deal with they were getting paid with the incentives more. Was it
Saquon? Saquon.
Yeah. Saquon. So maybe they'll get a long-term deal more like that for Josh Jacobs. I know they definitely want him as part of this team. So we'll see. I mean, I don't know who else they would tag, but yeah, it doesn't seem that they're going to tag him. They tagged him last year. Didn't work out too well for both of them, the Raiders and Josh Jacobs.
Yeah.
He shot out a little bit.
Oh,
his numbers plummeted.
They tagged him last year.
Yeah, they tagged him last year.
And also another thing about the franchise tags, if you get tagged back to back or multiple times, you get an even bigger bump in your pay. So that's another thing that teams have to factor in. So he wouldn't just get the regular non-exclusive tag. He'd get more. Sure. Oh, damn. Yeah. Okay, I see it now.
He'd be getting 14 for sure because that last tag he got just about 12. I think it was like 10. And then same thing, like with incentives, he probably gets like 12. So he would definitely be getting 14 and above, well, basically 14. So, which I think the Raiders should have been happy with. I mean, I would have tagged him one more time. Anyway, we'll talk about that in a little bit. But that's the only other news I've heard.
Okay, yeah.
To that. Yeah.
Well, another one Mike mentioned before, Tampa Bay is looking to tag Antoine Winfield, their safety, Antoine Winfield Jr., instead of Baker Mayfield, because that, if you franchise tag Baker Mayfield, he automatically gets that $38 million next year. But I wanted to ask about that. If you guys thought, getting a good defensive player was worth risking not having a quarterback again.
Yeah, right. Because, Baker Mayfield also came in and did a really good job. So, that's tough because who else do you see being their quarterback? You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying. You got to find somebody else to be their quarterback. And then with that increase in the salary cap, maybe that kind of helps things. But, Mike, what do you think for the Tampa Bay situation? Would you also tag Antoine Winfield Jr., their safety, who's like their Kyle Hamilton, their Derwin James? Yeah. Or would you try to keep your quarterback who had some success, got you to the playoffs?
I don't think Baker Mayfield is worth 35 to 38 million a year. I would say probably he's in the range of, he's like a Geno Smith kind of character, 20 to 25 maybe mil a year. That's just me. Mike Evans, he's the real star. He's about to leave. You need to figure out what you're going to do with him. Otherwise, he's going to go end up with the Chiefs or something. Something crazy, guys. Like, we should be worried. We should make sure that they have enough money to pay Mike Evans whatever he wants to make so that he stays there for the rest of his career. Otherwise, I don't know, man. I feel like he'd try to go win some more Super Bowls with Patty Mahomes, especially with this extra 30 mil. That's there pays for that's one player for them that they need.
Where did this extra money come from? I know the league said TV rights or they made some payments for COVID, so they had some deferrals, and now that that's out of the way, more of the money is realized in their like yearly revenue accounting, and that means that the teams have a bigger salary cap that they can use.
Nah, it's from all the whack penalties that we're calling last year and all the fines.
Someone said it was because of Taylor Swift, and you have to respect it now. She brought so much money that she increased the salary cap.
Thank you, Tim. That was because of Usher. It was Usher.
That's the last thing we want to admit to.
Shout out to Usher and Alicia Keys. Man, that was nice to see her there. All right. Yeah, big hugs. Franchise tag for our teams. Forrest, you talked about the Raiders are not expected to franchise tag Josh Jacobs, and I think you guys haven't really used it, a lot. I want to say like 6 times in the last 20 years. You guys started with Charles Woodson, I think, back-to-back, Nnamdi Asomugha. A couple of different players that you were trying to keep that didn't end up with the team, but anybody else that is going to become a free agent for the Raiders that you feel like would be worth what these tag numbers are, the top 5 average salaries?
Oh man, no, I don't. There's no other Raider. Man, I mean, no.
And I thought it was a lot bigger pool to choose from to apply these tags to, but it really is just those players that have already finished their contracts. It can't be someone like in the last year of their contract that's about to leave or something.
I mean,
that would open it up more.
Right. So, I mean, I don't see anybody like you got guys like there's guys who are contributors on there for sure that are free agents.
But not that you pay that top 5 money to for their position.
Like they gave Bilal Nichols a ton of money. He came over and he was, I want to say I don't even know if he was mediocre. Andre James maybe because he was a guy that came over, wasn't expected to do much, but he's actually turned into a really good young center.
Nice.
And then the other person might be Jermaine Illuminor, but man, he's also, as a tackle, not worth the money. So, I would, honestly, if I was the Raiders, Josh Jacobs, if they use it, because they don't have to use it like we just said, Josh Jacobs would most likely be the guy that I would franchise tag. Because, I mean, one, he's in, contract negotiations. You can try him for one more year because he did have an off year. He did hold out. There's a whole bunch of drama between. He didn't like playing under McDaniels, and now he doesn't have to. He's been vocal about really wanting to play for Antonio Pierce. Pierce has also called him a leader on the team. So
nice.
I think, and then you pay him $14 million. I think you could do that, especially like we said, we got an extra $30 million from the league, so you can pay him that $14 for the year. See what he does, and while he's doing that, make sure you get him to a long-term contract. And so, Josh Jacobs.
I feel like that $30 million increase in the salary cap is basically a free franchise tag player. Like, you can just have a really expensive guy, or, you could figure out, we can apply this to a bunch of different people or extend a bunch of different people. So it's going to be exciting. Sure. You said Luminor was an offensive tackle?
Yeah, he plays. Well, he can play guard and tackle, but what they really had him at when he was playing is they wanted him to be that right tackle to why am I going blank now? Big guy, UCLA left tackle for the Racers. Sheesh.
Colton Miller.
Yeah, Colton Miller. They wanted him to be the right tackle to Colton Miller's left tackle.
His bookend.
Bookends. And I saw Illuminor. To be fair, all the reports of him, and not just from the Raiders in the offseason, was that he looked really good. And then he came in and he didn't live up to the expectations he had during the offseason. So, that's, I mean, he fills the role because he can play both guard and tackle. And he's been a really good guard at times. So they might want to, I mean, there's one person I would franchise, but this is just me being super Polynesian. I would franchise Isaiah Polomau.
Safety? 17.1 million.
Hey, he's coming on, man. You know what I mean? He's coming on.
Offensive line.
He just needs that money to really jumpstart his.
He's just gonna be able to pay him so he can start investing in his body. The tag price for offensive linemen is $20.9 million next year. So those just some numbers to put on to the Raiders. But in not signing Josh Jacobs, the Raiders are probably not going to franchise tag anyone.
You know what? If they do, as an organization, if I'm thinking through the organization's eyes, I think they're gonna maybe tag either Illuminor or Andre James. I think, because offensive line, it takes care of that. You don't have to worry about it anymore at that position, I guess. So yeah,
it's gonna be interesting to see what full-time coach Antonio Pierce and new GM Tom Telesco decide where they're going to go. They've already decided they're not going to pay Josh Jacobs $14 million, but there also are reports that they're going to continue to try to negotiate, get him on a lower deal. Let's go
but just like you said, they don't have to sign anybody. They don't have to tag anybody.
You don't have to. Yeah, it's just it's a tool available to teams. Let's up to Lumen Field, Seattle. Mike, what's the breakdown? What's the history of the Seahawks? Are they like a big taggers? Is there anybody on the team you see that is going to get tagged before March 5th?
I would say that the Seahawks do not lean with it, nor do they rock with it. Because we are not them franchise boys, nor do we franchise tag many players, at least in the John Schneider era. The last one we did was Frank Clark in 2019, and 9 years prior in 2010 was a kicker named Olindo Maury.
He was pretty good.
Yeah.
And probably was only like $3-4 million to do that.
Yeah, it was probably like $1 million. Like that was tactical back then. I don't see us doing that this year either for anybody really. Priority re-sign is that D tackle that we got from the Giants, Leonard Williams, but he was franchised twice by the Giants already, and so a third time would be like $35 million. Like he's making Bosa money.
Yeah. But definitely not putting out Defensive Player of the Year production?
Yeah, not even close, though.
Oh, damn. Okay.
I'd say, but he's good, but
not that up there.
Yeah. Also, Jordan Brooks was a possibility that was somebody we might try to franchise tag, but I feel it's like 20-something million for the linebackers.
Okay.
Or 17, I don't remember. But it was too much. Mm-hmm. We could, I think we could pay somebody that money instead, or just pay him. Like, if he can get paid somewhere else, I'd say he should go. I think the Seahawks should try to target some other people, though. I've heard Patrick Queen or McQueen, Patrick Queen. Mm-hmm. The ties with
Lightning.
Ciao. He has ties to Mike McDonald, so
right.
There's that. Also, a lot of Seahawks forums I've said they think that we should target Frankie Louvu from the Panthers, which I'm all about. I don't know about you guys. If we pay him decent money, he can come back up to he played at Wazoo. You know, it's only one flight to Hawaii instead of like 3. So.
Damn, there too, right?
Also, there's hella Samoans here, you know. So
we already sent him my submission for teams I would like to play for.
For the Raiders.
I was like, well, of course, yeah, the Raiders. I mean, if you wanted to, that'd be cool. I think my list was more of teams that I didn't want him to play for.
Did we make the cut?
Who were those? I was gonna say, who were those teams? You say Chargers? Yeah.
Seattle, San Francisco, LA. You can pick Lance which LA team I was like about it. And Dallas. Because I heard Dallas is pretty heavy on him. Like Dallas and the word is Dallas and Pittsburgh are pretty heavy on him right now.
Frankie Louvu is that guy. He's like at the top of that linebacker free agency class, so definitely gonna get a lot of looks, and hopefully he gets paid. You would take Frankie Louvu in Seattle as your big free agency signing this year?
Oh yeah.
Like
I said, we're trying to build a defense.
Yeah, no, he definitely come out here. He'd love to play out here. I mean, like you just said, they're losing. They're probably losing Jordan. They're gonna lose the hero of Seattle. Yeah, they'll lose him. So that's 2 linebackers they're down. Bobby Wagner.
Oh, Bobby Wagner, right.
No, that'd be dope to see Frankie play out here again. For all the pros, as you just said, it's close to home, being Hawaii or Samoa. Like, you know, island getaway. He played at Wazoo, so he's familiar with the area. He has family out here. A ton of his inner circle too reside out here in Washington, like Seattle area.
That'd be a homecoming.
It would definitely be a homecoming for him. And I mean,
that's too much though. That's too much family. That's too much. That's too close, man. Maybe the same time zone, but like some distance away. Maybe go help Jim Harbaugh.
No, we don't want that.
It's one flight to Hawaii. It's one flight back home.
But the tax is also about the tax will ruin your money.
Oh, that's right.
The tax will ruin your money, man. But you know what? Whatever team is willing to pay him 14 on up, we're definitely gonna be a fan of that team.
Worth it.
I was about to. If it has to be Seattle, if it's Seattle, that'd be dope. You know,
that's gonna be my first Seahawks jersey.
I don't know if I'm going that far, but
that's the part.
I'll buy a t-shirt.
Oh, hey, those Louvu, like what was it? Like it wasn't throwback. I want to say like vintage photo. I feel like I've been seeing a bunch of those. But the last time that he played the Seahawks, I saw a couple of those shirts. All right.
And for Mike's sake, I think Frankie out here would be dope.
What any other Seahawks franchise tag news or stuff from you, Mike?
Nope, that's all I had. Just some hopeful signings. Yeah.
Nice.
Sign, maybe get it done before next week, and then we can franchise tag him.
News keep him. News from the Los Angeles Chargers are that they are not going to franchise tag running back Austin Eckler, who was pushing hard for a long-term deal to get paid what he's worth. He's going to be able to hit the free agent market when free agency opens this spring. And join running backs by the names of, Josh Jacobs, Saquon Barkley, Derrick Henry. I believe Tony Pollard is not being franchise tagged by the Dallas Cowboys. I don't know if he's going to get re-signed to a lot less of a contract, but he could also be on the free agent market. So it feels like it's a running back heavy market. So I feel like their contracts, which are already some of the lowest, they're actually the lowest besides kickers for the franchise tags, which is crazy for like the amount of beating that running backs take and how important they can be to a functioning offense. But I feel like having a lot of these names also on the market at the same time is going to drive their, contract negotiating power down even more. So it's
kind of like they saturate the market.
Yeah. So it's not, I feel like it's going to be a bad year, for running backs getting paid, but the Chargers have decided not to franchise tag Austin Eckler, which would have been only $12 million. I feel like that's for what Austin Eckler can do, $12 million is not, a lot, especially with the salary cap increase and his worth. I thought the Chargers could have, done that, but they're going to try to use new offensive coordinator, coach Greg Roman, and his running game proficiency and the way he's built consistently good systems that have at least ranked high in attempts, yards, touchdowns, rushing attempts, rushing yards, and rushing touchdowns. And try to use guys that we already have on the roster. Isaiah Spiller, we drafted last year, 2 years ago. Joshua Kelly out of UCLA was a really good college running back, but opportunities that they've had to fill in for Austin Eckler haven't looked good. But it looked like less like their physical skills or abilities and more just like being run into walls. I want to say it's play calling, but that's also, I feel like some homerism. They're definitely not, up to that star level running back money or production. So it's going to be on the coaches to kind of maximize their potential and try to put it all together. I think one of the top ranked targets or that franchise tag targets for the Chargers is going to be actually their tight end, Gerald Everett, who, the wide receivers aren't going to get franchise tagged. Right. The DNs, Joey Bosa, Khalil Mack, I forget their contract situation, but we're in the business of cutting stars, not keeping them. So I feel like the wide receiver numbers are way too high to be keeping or extending Mike Williams again. I think a bunch of these guys are going to get cut.
I heard they're releasing him.
Yeah. So Gerald Everett has always been the potential guy, the guy with real good physicals. He's tall, big, can run fast. He cannot catch. He cannot block well. But tight end is only $10 million, something like that. So it could be a good kind of, and he also didn't have Justin Herbert thrown into him for most of the year. But he could be that kind of value piece that stays around. But I think it's also likely that, they just don't franchise tag anybody. But yeah, there's going to be a lot of change on the roster for the Chargers, and it's going to be mostly those stars, those big names, those big contracts, Khalil Mack, Joey Bosa, maybe Derwin James too, which I'm on the fence about. I feel like he definitely contributes well, and he's kind of the fire, but he also gets called for dumb penalties in the worst times, a lot of roughing or unnecessary roughness or stuff like that. But any questions for the Chargers or anything you guys saw about the Chargers franchise tag or roster makeup?
Yeah,
go ahead, Mike.
Oh no, go ahead, Forrest. You.
No, I was just gonna say he pretty much said that he wanted the Chargers to sign a $10 million statue as their franchise tag. He doesn't catch well, he doesn't block well, but he looks good physically. Why not let's sign him for $10 million so he can look good on the field?
There are no other tight ends on the team. He's
what about Parham? Isn't he
6'8"?
Shit.
Yeah, tall as shit. right? And he could be like, just throw it 11 feet in the air and let him like raise his hands up on his tippy toes and catch it. Like one of those guys that doesn't have to jump to dunk. Like just throw it really high. I thought Parham was going to build on like his first breakout season. I think it was 2 years ago, but whether it's injuries or them bringing in other tight ends, he hasn't really kind of risen up to that tight end one usage, but definitely potential. And I'm pretty sure he's still on the team. So yeah, that's the Chargers. So
yeah, I was gonna say we talked about this earlier, but I heard through the grapevine, due to the fact that I hold on to Saquon Barkley during my fantasy off season, and one of my like someone else has a team in the league, they said that Saquon is going to sign with one of the Harbos, and that he might like during this offseason probably be one of the highest fantasy values of all time. When I hear that, I don't think it's to the Ravens. I think it's to the Chargers.
To the Chargers?
Yeah, I think it's to the Chargers, especially with
gonna be to the better brother, John.
Wow.
The non-cheat.
Why do you think Saquon's going to LA? Like he's got that feel where
I just think that's the Chargers are missing like that really big signing. Like, yeah, Justin Herbert's their star, but he needs someone to show him how to really be a fucking star. And Saquon coming from New York, he's been the center of attention for like the last 5 years up there.
True.
And then like New York to LA, that just sounds like a fresh start for him. And I don't know, I just think it'd be tight to see him in the Charger blue.
Having Saquon Barkley on your team definitely probably helps your team improve. As a Saquon dynasty owner, how many years have you had him?
This would be my first.
So wait, so you had him last year? You drafted him last year, and you're keeping him this year?
I traded for him last year.
Gotcha.
Someone traded for me. My season was in the tank, so I was like, I better start thinking about keepers for next season.
Do you have any worry about his injury history, or like what it's?
I think that he'll be all right. I think him and Justin Herbert will like split it, so it won't be so bad on either of them. Yeah.
Saquon won't be relied on to carry it all the time. Yeah. He'll have a quarterback that can throw.
No. Mike said that they're gonna split injuries.
Hey, you're out this week.
All right, it's my foot in your hand.
Right. They're gonna issue the locker room who gets to play on Sunday. Sorry, man. I gotta take my Charger hit so
this freaking guy. All right.
You know what? We forgot about the third Harbaugh, bro. He's gonna sign in Seattle with Dan Harbaugh.
On the He's gonna be our punt returner. Our special teams coach. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Harbaugh. Oh, that'd be crazy.
He's signing with the Seahawks Harbaugh.
Yeah, a little birdie told me that, so we'll see. We'll see if that comes to fruition.
Nice.
I'm excited. I'm already excited for football season.
Football just ended, but I feel like this has really become a year-round kind of league where they've turned like the franchise tags, free agency, the draft, the mini preseason, freaking Hard Knocks. They've turned it into like a year-round thing that you can't follow. It definitely falls off. I don't know what the hell I'm doing on Sundays. I feel like I'm just sitting around the house now. I'm just like... why am I not watching football? Because there's no football on. Last question before we go. This is off of franchise tags, but I wanted to ask you guys if you were going to watch the UFL and like how much of it, how excited are you for it, if at all?
Yo, I'm super fucking excited.
Are you?
No, I'm not. But I am gonna watch a few games. There's guys that we know that are playing. Shalom Luani's playing on there. There's a couple other guys from back home that are playing on some of these teams. You got Jordan Tamu, who was like, wasn't he the offensive player of the year last year in the XFL? So, I mean, there's gonna be some guys there, and then like everybody has like their little known fans or that they're fans of players that aren't quite stars anywhere, but like they're still playing ball because you follow them in college. So I know a lot of people are gonna have those guys playing in those leagues. So I'm not like excited to watch it, but I think without any other football going, it'll be fun to watch.
How many UFL games are you gonna watch this year, Mike? Like more than 2?
Well, they got rid of the Seattle team, so
what?
Oh, that's crazy! I didn't know that. They were pretty good.
Rock, Uncle Rock said no more Seattle.
Is the USFL and the XFL joining together to be the UFL, right? Oh, damn! I didn't think
and they got rid. I was like, what the heck? How did they get rid of a team? But we don't got a squad, but I might check out a game or two. I know that at least like 5 players came from there to the NFL last year.
Nice.
Yep.
So.
And I think they're working together with the NFL. They're using like the NFL officiating. Yeah, good.
Yeah, they're making it kind of like a G League for the NFL.
I think that's great.
The refs right there too, man. They need to get ref training or whatever.
Oh, nice. Kind of using it as a kind of training ground for the league, but also have guys playing. That's cool. I'm not excited about it, but I think I will be watching it just because tuning in for football. And like Forrest said, there's a bunch of Samoans that have been playing in these leagues and are going to continue to play, and hopefully, pipeline up to the NFL. All right,
man. There are alternatives, man. I just got back from Junior Lubu, his daughter, who is a 6th grader. She has to at least be. She's an 11-year-old. She's about 5'11". She's super tall. She plays basketball for her school. But we went there. She plays, and then they have 2 teams. They play first. Well, she's pretty good. She's learning the game right now. But at that height, you know what I mean? It's not hard to tell that she got a lot of rebounds, got a lot of blocks. But on their other team, let me tell you, there's these 2 11-year-old girls. They were killing. Like, they had crossovers, hop steps, like Euro steps to the basket. They were hitting threes. I was like, golly.
Nice.
So there are alternatives, just in case.
Oh, instead of just watching the UFL, there's other sports and great athletes. Yeah. Okay, I see what you're saying. Nice.
You can do it. You can find some.
All right, starting out our shout-outs. Forrest, you got any shout-outs for this week?
Oh, man. Shout out to everybody who ever tunes in, man. I know sometimes we don't really, shout you guys out, but we do really appreciate you. Anytime someone tells me, oh, man, I heard the show last night, and then they tell us about the part of the show that they were really interested in, it really, it excites me. It's fun. I don't know. It's a great feeling to know that there are people out there who listen to Lance speak very eloquently, to hear Mike be intelligent, and to me be a dickhead online. Is amazing. Yeah. As you can tell, he's a Chargers fan. We won't fault him for that.
When you sent that meme, I was like, yo, this is freaking you. This guy.
But yeah, man. Shout out to all you guys who listen to us, and not just us, but the Politicking podcast, the whole network there. To guys like, Island Mogul, whenever they have their stuff, Island Block Radio, to any of these podcasts out there, Stack Bundles. It's so fun to see people talk about it, especially if you're on Twitter. The stuff you'll see Sefa and Marcus get shouted out on Twitter because they're super funny, they're genuine. They're just, it's cool. People love to hear them talk about these things, and they engage with them. So love it, man. Shout out to all you guys, man.
Nice. Any shout outs, Mike?
You know what? Shout out to McDonald's. I went there today and they changed everything. There was anime. There was like a manga on my McDonald's bag.
Nice.
And instead of McDonald's, like MC, it was WC. I don't know, Wick Donald's, and I had Wick Nuggets.
They turned it upside down,
man. I'm like, what is happening with the world? I'm all about it. It had a new sauce. It was pretty good.
Fire.
Yeah. Shout out them. Shout out to my other podcast, Emerald Perspective.
Yeah.
We recorded a new episode dropping this week, discussing Avatar: The Last Airbender. Since everybody wants to talk about it.
What is that on Netflix?
Yeah, it's on Netflix. Nice. Season 1, book 1, I guess you could call it.
Ooh, there's going to be another season?
Yeah. They're going to do it just like the anime. Yeah.
Okay. Emerald Perspective, how can people listen? Where are they tuning in?
Anywhere you can listen to podcasts, we're on it, but mostly Spotify, Apple Music, Apple Podcasts.
Nice.
Fire.
Google Podcasts. I did have another shout out, but I forgot it. So
jump in if you remember it.
All right.
Programming notes. We are releasing new episodes of the Ballinesian podcast every Tuesday afternoon. It's at 4:20. Every Tuesday afternoon, new episodes of the Ballinesian podcast. We're going to be writing out, what we're talking about, the different topics. Also, if you need more content, definitely check out the Polyticket Network, where we have Way Back Wednesday, where me and Steph M talk throwback nostalgic stuff, elder millennials, younger millennials, 30-year-olds, Pokemon, Mortal Kombat, Power Rangers, anything, everything.
The good old days.
Yeah, we got a bunch of great stuff where we're going through that. And then also on the Polyticket Network, the Pacifica Movie Starter Kit, where we break down different Islander movies, Legend of Johnny Lingo, Legend of Baron Toa, Whale Rider, Boy. Forrest jumped on for that Boy episode. Definitely check that out in the playlist that they have. We definitely went in this week on The Orator, Ole Tula Fale, which was it's an all Samoan movie. Oh, shout out to Tusi Tamasese, the director of that movie. Shot in Samoa, full Samoan cast, spoken all in Samoan, written by a Samoan, directed by a Samoan. So that was a really dope movie to see. A lot of long static shots of the island and kind of being transported back to being in American Samoa, even though the movie's in Western Samoa. But yeah, we broke down that movie on the Pacifica Movie Starter Kit. So definitely check that out. And next week for Way Back Wednesdays, what did we talk about? I forget. I'll post that. But yeah, shout out to the Polyticket Network. We're out here working, bro. Shout out to Levasa. Levasa Island Apparel, www.levasaislandapparel.com. Brother Uri out there in Modesto, California. And shout out to their food drive that they do every Saturday from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. Via Dolorosa Congregational Church, 1331 Cascade Avenue. Definitely take advantage of that, or let people know that is a resource in the community there in Modesto every Saturday from 9 a.m. to noon. And then they got a bunch of cool people over there, hanging out, playing games. So it's also a community event. Shout out to the people that helped them put that together. But yeah, that is our episode for this week. Definitely tap in with us. Let us know if you agree, disagree with any of our takes, what you want us to talk about next episode. You can DM us. All the socials, Instagram, Threads, TikTok, Facebook. And then you can also email us at ballinesian@gmail.com. And that's it. For Mike, for Forrest, I am Lance. Thank you guys for listening. Stay hydrated, stay blessed, stay ballin'. Love and light. Peace.